Lakes, practically water in a large hole in the ground. But is that all there is to it? You'll find out today. A lake is a body of water surrounded by land. They are naturally formed through many different ways, such as tectonic activity or erosion at a particular area, leading to the eventual depression within the land until it forms into the lake you know it as today. Based on that, you'd be right to infer that they're found all over the world in varying depths and elevations. In the Philippines alone, we have over 200 lakes, which sounds incredibly impressive until I tell you that there's 300 million lakes all over the world. And those lakes come in various sizes. While smaller lakes are often called ponds, some lakes can be large enough to be called seas, with the largest lake being the Caspian Sea, shared between Europe and Asia. It's a whopping 371,000 square kilometers. In comparison, the largest lake in the Philippines, Laguna de Bay, only has 900 square kilometers to its name. But size isn't the only thing differing between lakes. Some lakes are freshwater and some are saltwater, based on the source of the water it holds. Though sometimes it doesn't just hold water. Sometimes the water drains out of it. When water leaves the lake by way of rivers or streams, then it is an open lake. Otherwise, it's the more conventional idea you have of a lake, which is a closed lake, where water leaves only through evaporation. Closed lakes tend to be more saline, as more evaporation leads to a higher concentration of solid matter. An example being the Great Salt Lake in Utah, with a salinity of 200,000 milligrams per liter. Aside from salinity, lakes also differ based on the climate. An example being thermal stratification, which separates lakes into three different temperature ranges, being epilimnion, metalimnion, and hypolimnion in order. It is affected by the light availability and the wind speed of a certain region, affecting layer separation and mixing of the water column, respectively. Geological factors, such as the eruption of a local volcano, can also introduce gases and minerals into the lake. And all those factors contribute to the importance of lakes, with freshwater lakes containing well over 98% of surface water available for use due to their capabilities in providing natural water filtration and nutrient cycling. They're also important basins for drainage, aiding not only flood control, but also to expose water to a larger surface area for the water cycle. It also keeps the planet cool, with lakes, rivers, and wetlands holding up to 30% of global soil carbon. On a more local note, animals, plants, and microbes also depend on healthy lakes. The incredibly large northern pike, Esox lucius, has scales great for camouflaging in their habitat and is considered an apex predator in the lakes of Germany, with even other animals high up in the food chain hiding from them. One of those go-to hiding spots are various water plants, such as Myriophyllum heterophyllum, which grow in the areas in the lake that manage to get enough sunlight. Thus, lake plants tend to be located in these shallow areas. Though plants aren't the only places to hide. The varying species of cichlids in Lake Malawi of Africa make use of stone crevices, but manage to coexist as they occupy different niches through different feeding habits. Aside from fishes, a variety of amphibians and reptiles can also be found in lakes all over the world. Often, frogs and toads are seen in bunches during mating season and can be snacks for other species like turtles and alligators. But lakes also have a lot of visitors and are especially important for birds as a stopover during migration. Nauhan Lake National Park, a Ramsar site in the Philippines, is a famous stopover where you can find native and migratory birds all in one spot. Of course, we humans also benefit, especially utilizing it as a source of food. May that be through indirect means, such as irrigation for agriculture, or direct means, such as fishing. However, we haven't returned the favor. Lakes usually harbor unique species due to their isolation, such as Sardinella tawilis, a freshwater sardine endemic to Taal Lake. But the introduction of invasive species in lakes globally have caused biodiversity within them to be negatively affected, such as the introduction of the Nile tilapia, Oreochromis niloticus, within Taal Lake. Among other sources of damage include eutrophication, the sediment buildup exacerbated by anthropogenic activities, climate change, destruction or degradation of habitat, including hydrological manipulation, overexploitation, water pollution, and tourism. Lake disappearances have been happening globally, and though it is a natural process, it should take over hundreds and thousands of years, not just mere decades. One unfortunate example is Lake Popo in Bolivia, which was previously the country's second largest lake, only to be eradicated by sediment buildup by the local mining industry and the El Nino in 2015, one of the strongest in the last 3 decades as it was exacerbated by climate change. Still, many lakes remain. And as a global community, we must note that performing actions to protect the ones within our own countries leads to a domino effect of protecting even those outside of it. Thank you for listening.